I wasn't even thinking about Judge's injury, but you're right, because I will be cringing anytime he's in the outfield. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime he's near that wall.
Yeah.
Anytime he's got, and right, if the ball is hit into the right field corner, just let it go.
Yeah, don't touch
just
it.
Let
don't
it go.
run after it.
They're going to score runs anyway. So
be like Elsa. Let it go.
Yeah.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, happy Friday.
Happy Fan Mail Friday.
Happy Fan Mail Friday. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our show on YouTube or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're almost up to 8,900 subscribers, which is pretty cool. Like our videos and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. Coming up on today's show, it's Fan Mail Friday. We'll be answering your questions about the New York Yankees. But first, the Yankees are returning to a house of horrors this weekend, Dodger Stadium. So let's preview that series. I joke, but honestly, game one was a horror show because of how it ended.
Between that loss and Judge's injury in the last series they played at Dodger Stadium, that was in the regular season, it definitely can be considered a house of horrors for sure.
I wasn't even thinking about Judge's injury, but you're right, because I will be cringing anytime he's in the outfield. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime he's near that wall.
Yeah.
Anytime he's got, and right, if the ball is hit into the right field corner, just let it go.
Yeah, don't touch
just
it.
Let it
don't
go.
run after it.
They're going to score runs anyway. So
be like Elsa. Let it go.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I really am.
So this series is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday prime time series. Well, prime time in LA on Friday night. Here it's 10:10. Thank goodness we don't have to do a live stream after the 10:10 game on.
Yeah, that's a late one.
That's a late one. Yeah. Now it's on Apple TV Plus. If you don't have Apple TV Plus, you can't watch it anywhere. So you're gonna have to listen to the radio if you don't have it.
Trial. There's a free trial.
Oh, yes. You could do a free trial. Just remember to cancel it before they charge anything that you have. Max Fried against Tony Gonsolin. Max Fried, 7-0, 1.29 ERA. Gonsolin, 4-1 with a 2.68 ERA. That's a solid season.
Yeah, I'd say how does Max Fried get through the start without his ERA rising just because the Dodgers are so good? But, I mean, he's surprised me more often than not this season, so we'll see.
I know. I'm just a little worried because we're still waiting for the Max Fried letdown start, which hasn't really happened yet.
Yeah, it's got to come at some point.
I know, and I just don't want it to happen.
This would be a good spot for it. But not good. I guess good is a weird term to use there, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
But who knows? I mean, Max Fried's been surprising us all year, so
that's true. Saturday, 7:15 start on Fox. Will Warren, 3-2 with a 4.09 ERA. Landon Knack, 2-2 with a 5.22 ERA. Because I saw his last name and I thought to myself in my head, let me guess what his first name was. Didn't guess Landon.
No, would have never. They've had a lot of starting pitching trouble with injuries this year. No one stays healthy on that team starting pitching wise, or they just don't want them to waste innings for the playoffs. That's all that really matters to the Dodgers. Who knows what the real reason is?
Right.
But Will Warren, the strikeout king. Let's see if he can continue it up, because I mean his strikeout numbers. He has hit a new career high in strikeouts in his last 4 starts.
Yeah.
So let's see if he can go over 10.
And then Sunday, 7:10 start, ESPN. TBD for the Yankees as of the time that we're recording this.
It's
at 6:30 on Thursday.
Probably Ryan Yarbrough.
I would assume it's going to be Ryan Yarbrough against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I am not expecting the Yankees to do anything against this guy because they have issues with him. He's 6-3 with a 1.97 ERA.
6-3 with an ERA. 3 losses with an ERA that low is weird.
It is weird, right? Okay. Yeah.
But the Yankees, again, couldn't hit him in the World Series last year. And, I mean, I don't expect them to be able to hit him here either. So
no.
Put your prayers up for that one, because he's an unbelievable pitcher.
He really is. Yep. All right. Do you have any predictions? Actually, wait, hold off on that, because I believe we have a question that asks us that.
All right.
So we'll wait for that. That's right. I
cater to the audience. I love it.
Yeah. All right. It's Fan Mail Friday. If you're new to the show, we do this every week. We get questions from our Locked On Yankees insiders. They're the ones who go first. We also get questions on YouTube. I have a way for you guys to do it. We got 9 questions on YouTube, so nice job, YouTube viewers. Very nice. And every week we start with our insider, Betty, and she says, Fan Mail Friday. I have them. If you notice in the rundown, you see all the questions say Fan Mail Friday first and then the questions. So I know that they're Fan Mail Friday questions. Because sometimes our insiders will sometimes ask me like random questions. And I think to myself, wait, is this Fan Mail Friday or is it just a regular question that you're asking me? So just to make sure. Betty asks, is anyone else thinking of installing an at-home AED for when Boone even hints at using Williams as the closer, or am I overreacting? Now, if you don't know what an AED is, it's basically like a defibrillator. How do you say it?
It's a defibrillator.
That's it.
And it's used to basically restart your heart. Automated external defibrillator is the title of an AED. You basically hook it up to your chest. It provides electric shocks, read your pulses. It's a great tool to have in your house. Every restaurant's got one by law, and every household with a Yankee game on it, and it should have one.
Honestly, now that I'm past 50 and we do have a history of heart issues on my dad's side of the family, maybe we should get one for.
Wouldn't be a terrible idea. Again, or I think anyone in the New York area who roots for sports teams in this city should probably have to own one in their home because, I don't know if Devin Williams is going to be the closer, Betty. I think Boone says that to try and keep Williams' confidence up, but I don't know if he's going to necessarily keep him as the closer. I don't know if he becomes the closer because Luke Weaver's been that good, and Devin Williams does still struggle. So, if you can get Devin Williams to be comfortable in that 8th inning role, I think the pressure is going to be put on the Yankees by Devin Williams and his agent, though, because, his salary is going to go down a lot if he's an 8th inning guy as opposed to a closer. That's how it works.
Right.
Let's go to David F. He asks, who is the best Yankee closer not named Rivera? Gossage? Thanks for the updates. That's an interesting question, though, because closers weren't a thing until the last, 50 years.
Right. I'm trying to think of other closers.
It might legitimately be Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
As much of a need for an AED as he gave you too, it might. Aroldis Chapman was one of the best closers in baseball for a good 5-year stretch. So it might. I think it's Aroldis Chapman, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Our next question is from a new insider, Matt V. I've always been a big fan of Zach Neto. What do you think it will take to pry him away from the Angels to play third base?
Probably a lot, right? Because the Angels don't have anything and not really a future to look forward to. So, I think Zach Neto would be a lot to acquire. He's got great power, got great pop. We saw that in the first game of the Angels series. That ball that he hit to, I guess, kind of right field, but Judge didn't even move when that ball was hit.
Yeah.
He's got great power to right field. I'd love it, but I think they would be asking a hefty price because the Angels, they, especially too, their third baseman that they have in that system that they're paying a lot of money to appears to, who knows injury-wise if he'll ever play baseball again, but also doesn't want to play baseball ever again. So if Anthony Rendon's not going to come back and they need a third baseman of the future, it's probably going to take a lot to pry away a promising young player like that away from them. So I think, it would probably take a lot. And I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. Let's go to Lauren. She asks, as someone who lives on a different coast, I'm curious, what are common sports team fan combos in the New York metro area? Definitely an answer for this one. For example, she says, a lot of Yankee fans are also NFL team, NHL team, NBA team, and MLS team fans. I hope people are cheering the women's pro teams too.
They are. A lot of people are cheering for especially the Liberty. It helps that they won the championship this past season, and they're still they're going to be good again this year, or they are. I don't know.
I don't know if playing in Brooklyn helps the Liberty.
They got a lot of people there.
Which is funny, more than the Nets get. And that's the point I was kind of trying to make.
Yeah.
Because playing in Brooklyn hurts the Nets. I'll be honest with you, Lauren, we don't have Nets fans. I honest to God, don't know a single Nets fan.
I know a couple.
Especially when the Knicks are good, too. Well, you're kind of in a Jersey area, so that does make a little
sense.
I
know. No, not up here. I know people from social media, people who were New Jersey Nets fans because they grew up in New Jersey, and they're like, all right, let me root for the Nets kind of thing, and then they moved over with them to Brooklyn. Then I know people who lived in Brooklyn who were like, all right, I'll start rooting for the Nets kind of thing.
But generally, they struggle attendance-wise because they just don't have a huge fan base. I will say this: when the Knicks are good, like they are right now, the city definitely, for the 95% of the city, rallies around the Knicks.
Yeah.
So I'd say that I don't think the Knicks are attached to any team. To be honest with you, I think most of it is just most of the city is Knicks fans. Honestly.
Oh yeah, you have a mixture of Yankees and Mets fans rooting for the Knicks. Yeah.
But I would say it's generally, and tell me if I'm wrong, Stacey. It's Yankees, Giants, Rangers, and then I guess MLS on that side would be NYCFC. And then I would say it's Mets, Jets, Islanders, and Red Bulls. Although I don't know if I'd totally include the Red Bulls there. Here's why it's Mets, Jets, Islanders, because a lot of the Mets, Jets, Islanders, a lot of it is Queens, Long Island kind of people, right? Yep. Because the Jets played in Shea Stadium for a while. The Islanders are in Long Island. It's more of that group, whereas majority of Manhattan, a lot of Long Island still, but a lot of all of the Bronx, pretty much, a lot of Manhattan, a lot of Staten Island is Yankees and Giants for the most part. I'm a weird. You're pretty basic when it comes to that line, right?
Don't say I'm basic. I just followed my dad because that's
basic when it comes to that line of New York sports fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm different. I'm Jets, Yankees, Rangers.
Yeah. Our next door neighbors were Yankees, Jets, Rangers, and I found that strange when I was a kid because I just assumed it was Yankees, Giants, Rangers, Knicks kind of thing. Like I thought that was the alliance.
I do think Yankees and Giants, it's more of like families who have lived in New York like for generations now, because that was the only teams that were around. So yeah, that and a lot of the Mets fans are families of ex-Dodgers Giants fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they would never root for the Yankees. So when the Mets came around, they're like, okay, good. I have a team to root for. But
I would say universally, New York's team is the Knicks. Not that they're they are really popular depending on the season, but New York City's overall team, I think, is the Knicks.
See, I really wish my dad were still alive because his uncle Gus, his namesake, was a Giants fan, New York baseball Giants, and he tried to convert my dad into a Giants fan, brought him to the Polo Grounds all the time. They just took the train across the river because they lived in the Bronx. And I wonder, because Uncle Gus died in 1977. I have vague memories of him. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he became a Mets fan after the Giants left, if he just stopped watching baseball, because there was no way he would have become a Yankee fan. And
that was the thing. A lot of them, there was no way they were ever going to become Yankee fans. Right. They couldn't stand the Yankees. Right. I know my grandpa was a Dodger fan, and he became a Met fan. Yeah. Because they all, and that's the thing too, they all hated, there was no way they were going to become Yankee fans, but they also all hated the Dodgers and Giants for leaving them.
Right.
So they weren't going to follow that team either. So the Mets kind of were that saving grace for all of them.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
It is interesting, like the whole history of how people became fans of the New York teams and how the New York teams have evolved and stuff.
I think it works like you, Lauren, though, because we all pretty much follow our parents.
Yeah.
At least that's what I did.
Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. And if you would like to be part of next week's Fan Mail Friday, post a reply underneath the post on our channel. You can go to the post tab and you'll see where I tell you the deadline for next week's Fan Mail Friday. It's usually Thursday at 5. That just seems to be the easiest time for us to do. Mm-hmm. And the other way that you could be involved in Fan Mail Friday is if you become an insider. There's a link in our description. You get top priority on Fan Mail Friday, and we send you a bunch of other cool stuff as insiders. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up next, more Fan Mail Friday questions. Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's the thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning in your day. So if it's that essential, why would you settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast you'll love. So I took Trade's quiz. It only took a minute, and the first bag they sent me is so good that not only do I drink it 3 times a day, but I smell it 3 times a day. It's a mix between Teddy Grahams and pralines. The coffee is fresh, and honestly, it's ruined grocery store coffee for me in the best way possible. And if the first match isn't perfect, they will replace it until they get it right. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. That's drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB for 50% off your 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb.
All right, we continue at Fan Mail Friday, and our first question of this segment, as we stick with the insiders, is from Shalid. Shalid asks, I agree with you, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. Could Aaron Boone have played Devin Williams to see what he has in the closer role? Wasn't their idea to get him back to that point eventually, or at least back up for Weaver? He has been strong in other late innings. I was a bit shocked he couldn't close. So Shalid, to be honest with you, I don't hate the idea of bringing Devin Williams into close situations to have him, or save situations, I guess I should say, to have him try and work through that and work through his demons of early on in the season. I don't hate that point. And maybe that is what Aaron Boone was doing. The issue that I had is that Aaron Boone didn't give himself a backup. Like, his only option was Devin Williams in that spot. He had to stick with Devin Williams. So I'm okay with Devin Williams coming in, especially in a 3-run game. It makes sense in the game that he came into. The problem that I have is Luke Weaver wasn't available in case Devin Williams bleeped the bed again. So that was you didn't give yourself any way of getting out of that. Instead, you pinholed yourself to not having Luke Weaver available at all, and you didn't have anyone up in the bullpen, so there were no options available at all. So you basically told Devin Williams, okay, if you stink, we lose this game, and if you figure it out, we win this game. And they got lucky because he had 2 runs in a 3-0 lead, and the hidden thing too, Stacey, is the fact that the Angels couldn't hit that entire game. The Angels weren't hitting the entire 9 innings of that game, and then all of a sudden the 9th inning came, and they're hitting balls to the warning track because the Trent Grisham catch was to the track. And that ball was crushed, and he got it. And if it's a hot summer day, that ball's gone, and the Angels win the ball game. So that was my only issue, Shalid. I don't hate the idea of bringing Williams in and letting him regain his confidence. I do hate the idea of not having a backup plan in case he struggles like he's done all year. That's the problem that I had.
Right. Like, your whole deal was, why are you pitching Luke Weaver 2 days in a row, bringing him in when there's a 4-run lead?
Yeah.
That second day?
It was a 4-run lead in game 1 of the series. It just didn't. And that's the thing that, like, about what makes baseball managers so valuable. And I think Joe Torre used to say this all the time, that you as a baseball manager, you're always needing to think like 3 or 4 innings in advance of what are you going to do pitcher wise. And when it gets to late in the game, you have to start thinking about tomorrow's game. Well, who's going to be available for the bullpen? Who am I going to have? Who am I not going to have?
Yep.
But Aaron Boone clearly was not doing that. And I'm sorry, Stacey. I know we do say these wins do count and it doesn't matter come October. Agreed, totally. But it still is a game in late May. And to be managing that game in game 1 of the Angels series like it's a 4-run game in game 6 of the ALCS, yeah, Luke Weaver's in that game.
Right.
But to be managing a game like it's October in late May is also negligent to your team. And they don't lose the game, so it doesn't cost them anything and no one talks about it. But what if they do lose that game? You know what I mean? And like, it very, very, very well could have happened. Aaron Boone just got lucky.
Yep. Thank you for the question, Shalid. Next up, our last insider question from Ruben. How much should the Yankees pay for a lifetime contract for Matt Blake?
I have an interesting question. What does the highest paid pitching coach in baseball make? And is it Matt Blake?
Right, because I don't know how much coaches and managers make.
Well, I know they pried him away from Vanderbilt. And I know it did cost a lot of money from the Yankees to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a real big thing. Apparently, Mel Stottlemyre Jr. is currently the highest paid pitching coach in baseball. He's the Marlins pitching coach. And there's no salary online. I just looked it up really quick. There's no salary on him right now. So no one knows what these guys are making.
Right.
I'm assuming Matt Blake probably makes somewhere in the range of $500,000. Probably in that range for the Yankees pitching coach, especially because they wanted to pry him away from Vanderbilt. It could honestly be more because Vanderbilt might have been paying him that. So he might make over $1 million, to be honest with you. I honestly don't know. But I would talk about giving Matt Blake an extension and paying him upwards of what a manager costs, because let's hear it this way, Stacey. Right now, a team looking for a manager, if Matt Blake was available, I think almost every team in baseball would be in on Matt Blake. Yeah. He's been that good with the Yankees. He was great at Vanderbilt. He's shown a lot of acumen, and he's also improved almost every single Yankee starter that has gotten to him. And bullpen piece. Think about the amount of guys over the last few years the Yankees have acquired with high ERAs, with a lot of potential, that Matt Blake has gotten his hands on, that he's either sent them away and they've made a lot of money, or have made them better. So, I mean, Luis Gil is a great example of a guy that he got his hands on. Fernando Cruz, Mark Leiter Jr., the list goes on and on since he's gotten here. So I think he'd be a manager in baseball that almost every team in baseball will be prying for. And I'd give him an extension now because also, once Boone's gone, I think Matt Blake's a perfect guy to run up replacing Boone, honestly.
Right.
Would you do that too? Would you make him a higher paid employee than Boone?
I don't know.
Remember, they just did give Boone an extension. So
Right.
Boone's salary would go up with that after going to the World Series. So, I don't know. I would extend Blake. I honestly would. He's been that good for them. We go over to the YouTube questions. John Gray 1130 says, "Hi, been a Yankee fan for over 50 years and love what the team is doing so far this season, though I am finding it difficult to fully enjoy it. Oh no. The past few seasons started out great but fizzled out quickly after the All-Star break, and it does concern me that history will repeat. I hope this year is different, but it seems the post-All-Star break nosedive has become predictable, if not inevitable. What do you think?"
Okay, it's funny.
Yeah.
We discussed this on the Squad show Wednesday night. It went up Thursday. Sully came up with a summer baseball score. So I don't remember the point system, but it's basically the days that you're in a playoff spot in the standings from Memorial Day on. And in 2024, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Guardians all had perfect scores, and the perfect score for 2024 was 313, which meant you were in a playoff spot for most of the days until the end of the season. And the Yankees had one of the worst scores in 2023 when they did really badly. But I wonder what 2022 was, because you remember 2022. There were talks of, oh my God, this team is as good as the 98 team. They started off really hot. Like, it looked like they were on their way to 70 wins before they lost 25 games, like something crazy like that. And then they took that nosedive, and then they had the worst August they've had since 1991. So, John, I understand that fear. I also have that fear because it feels like a pattern with Aaron Boone's teams that they go through this swoon issue around the All-Star break, and it continues into August, and then they get like, I would just like them to be steady this year.
The big problem is what you just said, though. This is a repeated thing with Aaron Boone. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want him back, because I think they get off to these hot starts and he gets lazy as a manager and he stops preaching the message that he preaches all year. And then this stuff happens. They get lazy and they fall apart. It's a bad repetition they've been in. So yeah, you got to do everything you can to avoid that, because like we've seen, Stacey, home field is a big deal. It's a big deal in the postseason. So you got to work hard to keep that.
All right. Our next question, and the last one of this segment, from Jason Sanchez 55. I love this so much. This made my year. My two boys, 4 and 10 years old, listen to your podcast every day, either first thing in the morning or when they lay down for bed at night. This is a question from my 10-year-old Malachi. If you could coach any team other than the Yanks, what would it be?
Boy, Malachi, that's an awesome question. I'm gonna say I've got an affinity for the Texas Rangers. I went to that stadium last year for the All-Star break, if you guys remember. I loved their stadium, loved their complex, loved that area of Arlington. Everything's cheaper down there too. So yeah, I think I would manage the Texas Rangers. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want the Yankee job.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure under it and a lot of scrutiny and stuff. So I don't know if I'd want the Yankee job. What about you, Stacey?
Malachi, I do not have the temperament to be a coach or a teacher. I know it. So I would not be able to coach anyone.
So Malachi, I think she'd be great for the Marlins then, when no one cares.
Right.
No pressure, no one cares.
My brother has the temperament to be a coach and a teacher. He's done both. Me, no.
So she's taking a small market job where there's no expectations.
Yeah, or like an independent league team where no one's going to see me do anything and see me mess up.
Exactly.
That would probably be it. Yeah. Thank you so much for that question, Malachi. Coming up, we have more Fan Mail Friday questions from our YouTube viewers next.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. And whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order all of your products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. And plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And you need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. That's the best, right? For the trade pros looking for that extra edge too, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. Now, thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Stacey, more of our YouTube questions. This one comes from Steve Willis, LY5RT. He asks, when Garrett Cole comes back, will we have one of the best rotations in the American League?
I think we have it right now, just for the last week.
I thought Boston was going to take them over, honestly, this year. But yeah, I'd agree with Stacey here. I think right now they have the best rotation in the American League. So how could Garrett Cole not add to that? I'm looking forward to it. But he won't be back this year, Steve, so don't get your hopes up.
Our next question is from Rennie with a bunch of E's. Hey, Stace and Brian, or hi, Stace and Brian. Yankees seem to be leaving a lot of runners on base. Just last night in the first 2 innings, we left the bases loaded twice. This makes me nervous because we clearly can hit, but it feels like we can't seem to make it happen when we have the chance, especially given the very close game that followed. Any thoughts on a coaching or mindset change that might help us reduce these situations? Perhaps I'm just overreacting, but would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I actually runners in scoring position is a huge stat that I think gets overlooked a lot in baseball, especially when analyzing a team. RISP, it's really important because you get towards later in the season, especially like October where there's tighter games, Stacey. The importance of hitting with runners in scoring position is so huge, and teams don't address it enough. So yeah, I don't know if it's a change in coaching mindset. Honestly, I think a lot of times when it comes to runners in scoring position, it really comes down to they just have to be better, and timely hitting has to occur. So I don't know if there's we always say this, right? When it comes to coaching at this level, there's not much these guys are really teaching the players.
Right.
They've already got their stuff down. I don't know. Do you think it's a difference in coaching or anything like that, or is it simply they have to be better?
They just have to be better. I think they just have to be better. Because I mean, what can a coach do? Threaten a guy? If you don't get a hit here, you have to do 20 push-ups. Yeah.
And again, they're not giving them. Maybe they're giving them some advice on seeing things they see on video and stuff. But for the most part, it's very straightforward. I will say this though: the Yankees this year have been a lot better than years past with runners in scoring position. They are getting a lot more timely hitting this year, especially with the sac flies and stuff. But yeah, I'd agree with you. It's an important thing. The next one comes from.
Well, one thing I just think from last night, Kikuchi is the type of pitcher who can get himself into trouble and get himself out of trouble also. So that had something to do with that particular game.
Tough guy to put the ball in play against too. With that kind of movement, it's tough to put the ball in a good spot off him.
Yeah.
Casey Catro 7050 says, who is the most surprising success story this year, and who do you think is the most underperforming player?
Paul Goldschmidt is still my biggest surprise, just because he's still hitting really well, and it's nearly June.
It's 347. That's insane.
Yeah, it's almost June here.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. Most underperforming player, I'll say Peraza. I'm disappointed in the fact that he's finally getting time to play. But again, like we said the other day, he has 2 months to get his act together, and I think that's enough time for him to do that as long as they keep him in there. But I will say there is news that Jazz Chisholm, he's playing in Somerset, actually about to play in Somerset as we're recording this, and they're playing him at third base. Do with that what you will.
Yeah, that's a very interesting development. It kind of tells me they believe a lot in DJ LeMahieu, who has looked good since he's come back, by the way.
Well, he's looked good defensively, not batting, but defensively, yes.
But defensively, he's looked good, so maybe it'll take a while for his bat to get up, but we'll see what they do, because that's an interesting factor that you just gave us. I didn't know he was playing at third base tonight.
Yep.
I'll give you, for disappointing, Devin Williams. I think he has to be one of the guys listed there.
Yeah.
And for surprising, really good surprising, and I don't know if I saw it being this good, I'm going to give it to Ben Rice. Because I don't know if anyone saw Ben Rice being this good. I thought he'd be fine, but I don't know if anyone saw double-digit home runs before June.
No, definitely not. All right, next question. Joe Miller, 8706. So here we go. this is what I was waiting for because I didn't want to ruin that in the first segment. Bold predictions for this weekend series against the Dodgers. And have you noticed that MLB Network finally smartened up and made it that you can watch streams from other carriers now, like Apple and ESPN, and don't have to switch streaming to watch? Keep up the good work, guys.
I have noticed. Thank God. I don't know why they were being so picky with that for a while. And I'm going to say Yankees 2-1 in this series just because they have the advantage pitching-wise.
He said bold. He said bold. I'll say Yankee sweep.
Wow, that is bold. They lose game 2 of this series, but they hit Kikuchi. They hit Yamamoto really well.
Yeah, like I have that feels like one of those reverse lock games where you think it's going to be bad for the Yankees and then they pull something out. But then again, it's an ESPN game. But then again, they did well in the ESPN game that they played against the Mets. So who knows? Maybe 2025 is going to be different than 2024 because they were awful on ESPN games on 2024. I didn't even like watching them when I knew they were going to be on Sunday Night Baseball because they just were so bad.
Yeah.
So maybe this
year usually it's a house horror for them on prime time, though. They don't usually play well. For some reason, my mind always sticks to the Yankees playing. They're always in Boston for a primetime game, and they always play poorly in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Always. Kevin Sweeney, K5C. I think we answered this earlier, but I'll give him the question. I think you know the answer to this. Mm-hmm. If the Yankees fire Aaron Boone, who do you think should replace him? By the way, I'm running a book on the Yankees 2025 season. Well, that's cool. We're available for interviews. Or
if you want to talk to us about it. Yeah. Well, they're not firing him.
No, they just gave him an extension.
Yeah. One, they gave him an extension. They didn't fire him after what he did in the World Series. They didn't fire him after they got swept in the ALC. He's never getting fired. He's not getting and I don't mean this in a mean way, Kevin, but and to everyone out there, just don't even put that in your head. They're never firing him. This man could get away with anything and not get fired. He's never getting fired.
He's going to walk away whenever he does decide to do that. That's how his tenure ends.
Yep.
It's the same way Cashman's tenure ends.
Yep.
Maybe not the same year, but it's the same way. Or Cashman walks away at a certain point, and the guy that comes in wants his own guy. And convinces Steinbrenner, we have to let Boone go because I want to have my own guy. That's the only way I see this happening. But Steinbrenner, by the way, Cashman's in his, is he even 60 yet? He's going nowhere too.
He's only 7 years older than me. What the hell?
What could have been?
Good Lord. Okay. That's right. Because he was really young when he started.
Yeah.
And he was an intern. Yeah, that makes sense. In 1991, because I graduated high school in 92. And if he was an intern in 91.
He's a few years older than you, yeah.
Oh my God. I don't like that at all. All right. Anyway. Last question. Rivka Meiselman, 3375. I've been really enjoying Dave Sims on the radio broadcast and his chemistry with Susan Waldman. What do you guys think about the new voice of the New York Yankees?
I don't mind it. I think it's got a lot of similarities to the John broadcast, to be honest with you. For some reason, I don't mean this in an offensive way at all, but an older dude calling baseball games just is a comfort thing on the radio, right? It just feels more comforting, and the radio broadcast is less energetic and vibrant. It just makes for a very relaxing drive on the Garden State Parkway with an older dude calling the Yankee game. I don't know why.
I get that. I do get that. I haven't listened to enough games. I've listened to clips and stuff, but I haven't really listened to a game. And because I don't really feel the need to do the free trial for Apple TV, maybe I'll listen to Friday night's game.
He's got the energy when he needs it. Mm-hmm. But he's got very much of a John way of doing things where he's along with you for the walk of the baseball game. I kind of like that. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys did a really great job with Fan Mail Friday, asking a lot of cool questions. And Malachi, if you're listening to this late at night, go to bed.
Please.
Please go to bed. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you next week.